So you're still producing, hitting deadlines, getting the work done, showing up, everything looks fine. But you're laying there in the middle of the night and your nervous system is having a completely different conversation with you. Things not working. You can't turn it off. You can't get any real sleep, any real rest, and everything just feels harder than it should. This is what we call the wired but tired state. And it's the most dangerous place that high-performing women can sit in, because from the outside, everything looks fine. Like I said, the results are there. You're still showing up. You're still doing the job. The functioning aspect is still intact. So nobody would know. The only person who knows is you, because you can feel it. The minute you stop moving, your mind starts going, replaying things, the decisions you made, the ones you need to make tomorrow, the things you said, the things you didn't say. Your nervous system just doesn't have this off switch anymore. Things just get louder and louder and louder. You're surviving on caffeine, pushing forward momentum, and it's a state that you've been in for as long as you can remember. You just keep pushing, 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 because the idea of actually stopping and resting feels dangerous. And when you do try that, it doesn't work anyway. So what's the point? If you were to let go of the wheel for a minute, you know that everything's going to fall apart. You know, because the tiredness that you're carrying, you can't fix it with just a rest, a weekend away, a little holiday. It doesn't fix it. You go to bed exhausted, you wake up exhausted. Sure, maybe you slept a little bit, but it's not true restoration. So here's what's actually happening. Your nervous system is stuck in what we call sympathetic activation, fight or flight mode, high alert. And it's been running in threat detection mode for so long that it's actually forgotten what safety feels like. So even when there's not a true threat, it feels like there is. When you're lying in bed in the middle of the night, there's nothing actually wrong, the system is still running because it doesn't have the signal that it's safe to stop. It doesn't understand that it's safe to downregulate. So this is not a mindset problem. It's a physiological thing. It's not that you can't handle the load that you've chosen to carry. It's not that you can't do the work. It's not that you can't perform. It's just that you don't have the capacity to do it consistently. Your nervous system infrastructure is not keeping pace with your input. And when the infrastructure can't support the load that the system is carrying, it starts to compensate. More caffeine, later nights, skipping the things that used to restore you, just pushing, 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 working harder, working longer, because stopping somehow feels worse than continuing. And the compensation will work for a while, but that's not capacity. We can't confuse the two. The longer you end up running on compensation, the more of a gap we create between your output and what your system can actually support. And it creates this quiet erosion. The gap gets bigger and bigger. And it's not dramatic. It's not a full breakdown. It's just gradually becoming less and less sharp, less focused, less present, less yourself, less in the fire. Now that wired but tired state, it has a very specific intervention. Not more rest, because passive rest doesn't work on a nervous system that's stuck in a sympathetic activation mode, because the system can't access true restoration while it's still running in threat response. We need to intervene with a downregulation signal, something that communicates safety to your nervous system when it's actually forgotten what safety feels like. So I'm going to give you one thing that you can do right now. It's going to take you 4 or 5 minutes. We call it the 4-7-8 transition. And it directly activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the system that is responsible for rest and recovery, the system that you've not really been able to access consistently. So you're going to inhale for 4 counts through your nose. Hold for 7, and then exhale really slowly for 8 counts. The extended exhale, that's the mechanism. That activates the vagus nerve, which is the direct pathway to your parasympathetic nervous system. It's what activates it. Your nervous system reads a long exhale as a safety signal. Physiologically, it's telling your system that the threat has passed and it's safe to downregulate. If you do this for 4 rounds, you'll start to notice a change. Now, don't do it in bed, because your brain will associate that environment with racing thoughts. That's something else that we'll have to work on. Do it somewhere else, maybe in a chair, on a floor, somewhere where your body doesn't already hold an association with being switched on, being awake, and having all these different racing thoughts. Do it somewhere new. I'm going to put the instructions in the caption, and then you can go and do that today. Ideally at a transition point between work and home, or between your last task and attempting to sleep, because that's where it matters. Now, this is just one tool. It's not going to fix the entire infrastructure overnight. That's not how it works. But it will give your nervous system that first little signal, and it will be the first signal that's had in a long time that it is safe to stop. And over time, signals like that will compound, and you'll be able to access the fire again, because it's not gone. The fire is just inaccessible at the moment. That's a different problem with a different solution. And this is one step in that solution.